That's right, that book is back. And because Abby's not here, you get to suffer through this joke. Why do barbers make such good drivers? I'll let you think about it for a second. Because they know all the shortcuts. Wow. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Daily Misfire. Today's going to be, I guess we can call it like Beer Can Wednesday or something like that. Because I got a really good beer. And I think it's reflecting on the beer a little bit, so you can't really see it. But it's called Cali Creamin' Vanilla Cream Ale. This is probably one of my favorite beers out there. It's from Mother Earth Brewing Company. I think they're out of SoCal or Central California. I'm not really sure. But if you like vanilla ales, mint. Just like pristine, cherry, whatever you want to call it. Good. This one's good. Alright. So on this episode of the Daily Misfire Office Edition, I'm going to give you a rundown on some of the things that are grinding my gears in the automotive industry. Don't worry, we're not going to be talking about electric cars. I'm just going to complain about some things that General Motors isn't doing on some of their vehicles, as well as giving you a little bit of a rundown on the NASCAR's next-gen cars. I'm not going to give you a rundown like, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would or something like that, but my 2 cents on it, as well as the potential for Dodge returning in the near future. So let's get right into it. So first off, General Motors, Chevrolet, they announced that for some of their cars, they're not going to be putting seat warmers and steering wheel heaters in some of the cars because of that semiconductor nonsense, not having parts because of shipment issues and all that stuff. So they are not going to have in some of their cars seat warmers and steering wheel warmers, which I've never had a steering wheel warmer. Well, okay, I've had them. I don't think I've ever used it because my parents had a mid 2016, I think, Yukon, and I'm sure it had it. I didn't really use it because I kind of thought it was weird. I mean, I'm not used to these newfangled cars and all this technology, so it's kind of weird to me. Seat warmers, though, that's a move. I mean, honestly, if I got like TMI bucket seats or something like that, I might spring to get the seat warmers in those and just throw 12 volts to them, just because it's pristine. Because I'm old and at the age of 23, my back hurts still, and I like having that warmth on my back when it's sore in the cold. It's nice. So it's frustrating to see somewhere like General Motors miss out on something like that because of semiconductors. So it kind of begs the question of why wait this long, because we've been having this issue like the last year and a half. So why? Like, you could have figured a way out to get semiconductors for your cars. I mean, Ford's going through the same thing, Dodge. I mean, you would have thought these big, huge companies would have done something by now. Along the lines of Elon Musk, where he's like, I guess I'll just make my own. You could have done that. You all three of you, or at least Ford and Chevrolet, teamed together to make that 10-speed transmission that's in everything now. So I'm like, you could have done the same thing. These semiconductors aren't hard to make. You could have made a plant in Detroit or wherever you make cars now, and made that work. You could have done that. I'm just saying. But I digress. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to move on to NASCAR now, which is a little bit more fun. So NASCAR, if you watched at all this last race season, congrats to Kyle Larson, because he won the overall championship, NorCal guy. Cool dude. Goofy guy. And young kid, but really good. But that race, I think it was at Phoenix, that race, was the last race that you'll ever see solid rear axle cars, as well as 5-lug wheels. Yeah, so NASCAR is picking up from F1 and some of the other racing bodies, and they're going to a single lug wheel, as well as they're going with independent rear suspension on their cars. So it's going to be a lot stiffer on the cars, but theoretically they should handle better, as well as having the 1-lug wheels. So then, pit stops are going to be completely different. As well as they're going to have sequential gearboxes instead of the H-pattern 4-speeds that we're normally used to that they have right now. So all of those things are going to make NASCAR a lot different of an animal coming up this next season. So it's going to be interesting to see how fast some drivers pick it up and how fast others don't, or how like different racing programs figure things out. And if you want to learn more about this, on Dirty Mo Media, which is Dale Earnhardt's podcast, you can watch some of their videos on YouTube that they have, and they cover it with actually one of the Chevrolet designers, with Austin Dillon, I think, is the driver they have on it, and it's very informational, and they talk a lot about it. So if you're interested in that, I'll probably leave a link in the bio. So if I have a link in the bio, that's what it's for. There might be another one on there for something else I'm going to talk about later, but I digress. The second thing is Dodge can be returning to NASCAR, which is actually a really cool thing, because back, 60s, 70s, and up into the 80s, they were like NASCAR. That was like Dodge. It was like, that was a big thing. I mean, Richard Petty was a big Dodge guy. NASCAR and Dodge kind of go hand in hand. So it's still amazing to me that they're not really in the... it's Toyota, Ford, and Chevy. How did Toyota basically kick Dodge out of the mix? It's kind of frustrating to see that, honestly. You would have thought they would have been able to stay in a little bit longer, but, just the way things work out, and I understand. But I've heard rumors that it's like 80% done as far as them being able to come back into the environment. Which would be very exciting to watch, and to be able to see the learning curves for different teams that do pick up Dodge. And that even goes to like in Xfinity cars and stuff like that, not just NASCAR itself, but Xfinity cars might. You would have that trickle-down effect to where other race teams would have, Dodge cars. I don't know if it'd be like a Challenger or a Charger. I would assume it'd be one of those body styles, which is really cool. Which also kind of rolls into some of the NASCAR or NHRA stuff that they're doing, which is the Prototype X stuff that they're doing, that class, which is really cool. As well as Toyota unveiled the new Supra funny car body, which I'm not going to get into as far as that, just because there's not enough really there to talk about. We'll know more about it next season as far as that X prototype class that they're making, which is going to be really cool because it's like a pro stock style, so it's going to be kind of how it was back in the, or how those, how the Copo Camaro and stuff like that are. I think it's going to be one of those classes, just more so. Like how it was back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I think that's kind of how they're going to treat that, which is very exciting to watch that as well. But I think that's kind of my spiel as far as news and stuff like that out in the world. Now it's time for the fun stuff for us. First off, I had this in front of me. This is National Dragster, which is NHRA, all that stuff, their magazine. If I scroll through the back of this, I'll just show a picture on the board instead of scrolling through it. So, if I show a picture of this, that is a picture of me in that magazine with Andrew Erickson, aka Squeak Racing Jr. Super cool. I've never been in a magazine before, or at least not a national magazine. And I know it's just like a picture of the background. I'm not even like necessarily claimed to be in it, but that's definitely me in the picture. I made it, guys. Thank you. That was a cool thing just to see about that. And Team Sacramento did end up winning that Sacramento points, the ET finals. We ended up winning overall, so that's pretty cool too. To see that. But going back into the Daily Misfire as the shop and over winter, so our winter plans, I'm going to kind of go over that right now. So now the shop is fully winterized. I've been working on trying to get stuff together and cleaned up to where we can have things in and out of the shop, and it's not going to like affect too much, because with the rain and some of the wet weather and stuff we'll have, that way we're not really affected by it. But so first things first, we got a couple trucks and stuff we have to get out of the shop. We have to roll through those and get those out, which they're pretty close already. They should be done this month. And then after that, we have my car, which I have the cylinder heads I've been working on. You've seen on Instagram, and you'll see another video of me porting them on this channel, as well as the intake. And I have a 280 comp cam and some other stuff I'm going to put in the engine. Just basic things like bearings and stuff like that. just to make the engine a little bit healthier. And then we'll see how this works, but I have a hoop for the car. I have a few other things that we might end up doing depending on how money and funds and stuff work through the next couple months to make the car a little bit better. I have the axles I'm going to put in for the back, so I have a set of, they're Mosier axles, so that's really cool. So make the rear end nice and strong like it needs to. There's flies in here, I don't know why. I hate these flies. But so that's kind of what's going on with the Nova. There's some other stuff I might end up doing, I'm not sure yet. I need to get tires for those 16-inch wheels I got. So once I get those tires, then we'll put those on, and that'll be a cool thing for next year. And then aside from that car, we're going to start working on Abby's Camaro, getting the engine out. We're going to start finish putting in the 350 together that we have for it. It's a 68 4-bolt 350, just an engine that we had. It'll have an Edelbrock intake, carb, it's not going to have it carb. It'll have FI Tech fuel injection on it, Edelbrock fuel pump and stuff like that. It'll just be very basic, very stock replacement style engine. I mean, I'm leaving the cam and stuff that was in it. So now, granted, that was a Camaro 350 that we have, so it'll be borderline 250, 300 horsepower. That's flex plate, not brake. But it's still, I mean, that'll still be a good running motor and way better than the straight six that's in it now. And that'll probably involve also us putting power steering in the car, hopefully, and some other stuff like that. So that's going to go on with that. As well as I'm going to reupholster the Blazer and get new carpet and interior for it. I have a 62 C10 1-ton we're going to start working on very soon. I'm getting the parts and stuff together for it right now, so hopefully we'll have that together for you guys and be able to you guys watch us do frame swaps and some really cool stuff with that. And then we have, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, there's a 76 Suburban. I'm not sure exactly what it is. A GMC Suburban. I think it's a Grand Sierra, I think is what it is. That I'm hoping to acquire here in the next month or two. By the end of the year, I'm hoping to at least have it on the property so we can look at it. But then that's going to actually be replacing my Blazer. So that's kind of the goal for that. And it's a gas 350, so in California I have to smog it. But once we potentially move to Tennessee, that's not going to be that big of a deal. So that's kind of the plan with that. But hopefully by the end of this month, I'll have the Nova's cylinder heads and stuff together. Assembled, ported, and ready to go, and then I'll be able to basically pull the engine out of the Nova and put it back together in a weekend kind of a thing, and then throw it back in. Like, I have to fix an exhaust leak, so I have gaskets, and we'll go through gaskets and stuff like that. So very basic stuff. I have to rebuild the FI Tech fuel injection, that 600 horsepower system I had for it. I have to rebuild that. There's a fly on the trying to get on the lens. So I have to rebuild, I have to put a new computer module in that, so I'll have to do that. I need to call AutoGauge, go talk to them about one of the tax and stuff, just little stuff like that, all the car stuff that we like to do. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Here's the cool part, though, about what happened probably this last week or so. Excuse me. Alright. So the cool thing that happened this last week was I finally got our Etsy to work, or at least e-commerce working for you guys. So if you want t-shirts, stickers, sweatshirts, hit the link. I'm going to have this link as well in the bio. It's going to take you to our Etsy website, which is, I mean, everyone knows Etsy at this point. But it's our page on that website, and it shows you all of the t-shirt options we have. We have a sweatshirt, and I'm going to keep adding on to it because it's all drop shipped through a different company that I work through. So whatever you guys order is going to be directly from there. And then we have stickers. Our stickers are up on there finally, as well as Abby has her own website on there too, and I'll add that link in the description as well. So she has her horseshoe art and everything up on that, and then she'll be adding more as we go. We'll just be adding a whole bunch of stuff, so just keep updated with that, and I'll keep you guys updated with that and try to kind of I'm not going to force you guys to look at it, but I'll be definitely showing you guys a lot more. So that's kind of what's going on with us so far. We got a lot going on this next couple months, next 3-4 months, 5, 6, forever. It's going to be crazy. Or it's going to be insane. But I'm excited. So I'm going to finish this lovely beverage I have in front of me and let you guys get back to your day. So hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Peace.